Hey groovy people, it's late, but it's late actually in the evening, um, and I'm editing my videos from all of my interviews of people living this adventure, and I'm also editing some of the footage from our hippie trip. It's our #2 hippie trip. Well, we've had several hippie trips, but this is our #2 big one, which is the one we took this summer. We took 6 weeks to take it across the country, and it was kind of the beginning of my adventure. We're not going to just sit here and wait for people to make our life better. We're going to just take it across the country and have an adventure. And so we did. And so I'm going to be gathering footage from that. You can go on the channel and just kind of click on all of our different days and stories and saying out loud in the car all the way across the country from Massachusetts to Washington State. It was this past summer in July and August. We're originally from Washington State, and if you know anything about the history of our family, if you look on About Me and the Gurus page of my website, it talks about me and our hippie trip. First of all, our first hippie trip, just to give you a background, was, I call it, I wanted to take a camping trip with my kids. I love to camp and be outside and do biking and hiking and et cetera, but with kids with autism, everything requires planning, and safety issues arise, and tantruming, and all kinds of monster issues that you can't really imagine unless you live this adventure. So what I did is I took one of my very best friends, who was also a caregiver for my kids, and I invited her, and we went on I think it was a 4-day hippie trip down the Oregon coast, and we camped in a tent and everything, and it was so cool. And it was the beginning of many adventures after that. I think I felt very empowered by being able to just take my family on a trip, and it seems simple, but most families living this adventure can't take these simple adventures. They have to kind of fantasize about them for quite some time and plan them out and make sure everything is a-okay, and sometimes things are set up in a way that doesn't make it exactly easy for our families to function, because our kids don't go in lines well, our kids run away, our kids they don't have a sense of danger. So trips like camping, even going to a pool, it's a little more stressful than you might imagine. So that was our first hippie trip. It was in 2003. We went down to the Oregon coast, and God, it was gorgeous, and we got to be in the ocean. And during this last hippie trip, I taught Justin to surf, and we hung out on the beach as well in the Oregon coast, because it was kind of like a revisit. And I got a chance to interview a lot of people living this adventure, not only on that trip, but also at sunrise when I went with the kids, which was another great adventure. We could tell you about many, but I'm putting together some video footage of our hippie trip, and I'll be releasing that, and then I'll be telling you a little bit more about what everybody else thought their hippie trip wanted to be. And it sounds like everybody wants the freedom to just get in a vehicle or just take their kids hiking or biking or some sort of adventurous free outdoor thing, away from the isolation of autism. And I just really encourage you, if you have not taken your adventure or your hippie trip, please comment on my blog and tell me what your idea of a hippie trip would be. Like, hippie trip meaning no plan, you could just get in the car, you drive away, and you have fun with your family. And tell me why you think it can't happen, or why you're waiting, or what needs to happen so that you can. Because sometimes talking about it and saying it out loud kind of helps you get it to happen. And you know, every time that I really felt like, why are we not doing this? I know it's hard and we take a giant risk by doing it, but you know, I'd rather love life than to just be isolated and not teach my kids these things that I love. So it's like being dead, really, if you can't live life. And the fear of dying during these adventures is really the only fear that held me back, or that something would happen to my kids. And I'd really rather they had a full life and take bigger risks. Call me whatever you like. But anyway, I think it's an act of love to just keep going and trying and being adventurous. So we do it. So stay tuned for more of the Hippietrip excursions. And in the meantime, peace and love, and live out your adventure to the fullest.